Hello and welcome to Just a Moment. My name is Kristen Harding. Welcome to the show. Well, I had hoped to have my friend Benny on with me today, but apparently he got busy probably with a client, so maybe later on today we'll try again. But for now, let's do the blessing cards and we'll start reading. And if he shows up, he shows up, and if not, well, I tried. All right, so again, we are doing Lucy Cavendish's guidebook to the Blessed Be series. And the cards that came up today, they were right next to each other in the book. So that kind of made it really easy on me. So the first one that came up was a blessing to lift sadness. The lady all in blue, and she's standing in the dark, and there's a moth near her, and she's in like a cape with a hood on top, and she's looking out, and you can see the sadness on her face. So let's find out how we lift sadness. A blessing to lift the sadness that cloaks you, yet retain the wisdom and lesson it has come to teach you. Sadness is a strange friend, a gloomy mist of feelings that moves through you slowly, softly stilling the growth and dampening the fire within. It can feel like a death, this farewell to joy, yet within its sorrow there awaits for you great gifts. So when the time comes for sadness to move on, we ask for this blessing to allow it to slowly, softly lift from you. A diver who has been down deep beneath the oceans, and as you rise, may it be slow enough so you can adjust to the happiness that will begin to flower again in your heart. May your breath become deeper, your smile begin to light up your face again. May your eyes widen and sparkle with the wonder of all that is about you. And may your limbs find joy in movement once again. May you rise, and with that rising, bring with you the teachings of the sadness that you have experienced, yet be free from the heaviness that has weighed you down so far below that you seem to part from other people. May you rejoin others and find pleasure in company once again, and find solace in the sharing of your experiences. May you not hate the sorrow that came to stay a while, but know its presence brought you something holy, a lasting compassion for the suffering of others, and the sure knowledge that you once went below, but you shall surely rise. And if it comes to stay again, you will not fear its permanence, for it is a temporary companion, and you will again be a creature of gladness to balance the time that you have spent within the cave of sorrowful knowledge. Be blessed as this sadness lifts, and when that morning breaks and you feel light and glad and laughter bubbles up from within, remember that the wheel turns, and take the joy and shine it out to the world. Your candle is relit, friend. It is time to brighten all who meet you with the presence of your light. Blessed be. So, the next one, like I said, was right next to it, and it is a blessing of forgiveness. It's a beautiful picture of there's so much symbology here. So there's a crescent moon, a lady with braided red hair, a white owl, and she is in a Celtic background with a lot of Celtic symbolism. And it is a blessing of forgiveness. So, a blessing to be able to be free of the burden of grudges and vengeance. A prayer to help you open up to the blessing that is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a tricky beast, and yes, for all it is a gentle word, it is a great beast, forgiveness. For when we seek to forgive, we must wrestle with the wrongdoing that lies at the heart of our resistance to let go of the pain that we are holding on to. When we need to forgive, it is often that we are too raw, too far away from justice to be able to even touch the sides of the balm of forgiveness. Yet staying angry for long periods of time can develop into a compacted bitterness, and a bitterness is a gall to all who wish to live freely. It is a struggle to forgive when we are in the midst of the fallout of another person's actions. There is a great deal of victim blaming within our cultures, but in older times, in the Celtic world, there was restorative justice, and it would have gone a long way to forgiveness. In the Old Testament worldview, which has influenced our legal systems and our cultural ways of addressing wrongs, punitive justice is the main form, and forgiveness comes about usually after the wrong is righted. But what can we do when the wrong is still very much alive, and to forgive another seems to be diminishing their harm and their potential to harm others? Justice and forgiveness must work hand in hand, and in this blessing, they will now begin to entwine, so that while you begin to forgive yourself first for whatever wrong was done to you, there is often an element of self blame. There was once another way to restore what was taken through right action, and thus the path to forgiveness was free from vengeance. In the numerous New Age philosophies, responsibility is apportioned to the individual who is suffering time and time again. How did you attract this? That is wrong, and it's damaging in some cases, and it's cruel, and it's unethical. First, know that whatever wrong was done to you is not your fault, and begin the work of forgiving yourself. May the blessing of this self-knowledge be, uh, may the blessing of this self-forgiveness be bestowed upon you now, dear friend. Know you will gently untangle the doubt and recriminations that have settled like thorns about your heart and invaded your mind's peace. And as you begin to forgive yourself, you will also begin to find forgiveness for the injustices that you have endured. For in that forgiveness and acceptance, an ability to know clearly that wrongdoing was done, you will begin to return to yourself. You will be wiser yet unpoisoned. Slowly may the pain and the bitter buds wither, and in their place may you be reborn, honestly able to remember, wiser in order to prevent this event taking place again, and able to recall without pain. And the justice that the universe will deliver to you will be restorative, bringing back to you threefold what was taken by another. May you be free of pain at last. Let the anger burn down into coals from which you, phoenix-like, can rise again. And know that you have forgiven the other for their dark gift, forgiven life, and most of all, delivered the pure medicine of forgiveness to yourself. Blessed be. Just gonna check my volume here. Yep, we're good. Alrighty. So let me pop over to the comments, see if there's anybody. Hello, Bob. See if there's anybody in the chat. Yes, there is. So good. He must be able to hear me, unless he's got me on mute. It used to be a joke in my house that we had a remote control, and you would hold the remote control, and sometimes the noise, not the TV noise, but the noise in the room was so loud, I'd press the mute button. Yep, yep. I know, silly, right? So Let me get a drink of water here, and then we will start up with your anxiety. It's giving me anxiety. And I believe we left off where there was a little checklist to see how healed you were. And I believe I was like between a 3 and a 4. But let's read that checklist list off again because I feel like that's helpful. So, the quiz, and yes, there is a quiz. How healed are you from past trauma? Instructions. Answer each question with a simple yes or no. For every yes, give yourself 1 point. At the end, tally your score to see where you stand on your healing journey. Number 1, do you often feel anxious in situations where there is no immediate threat? Number 2, do you often find yourself replaying a past event or conversation in your mind? Number 3, do certain memories still trigger intense emotional reactions? Number 4, do you struggle with trusting others due to past experiences? Number 5, do you notice patterns of self-sabotage in your relationship or goals? Number 6, do you feel unworthy or undeserving of happiness or success? Number 7, do you avoid situations or people that remind you of past pain? Number 8, do you often feel overwhelmed by emotions that you can't fully explain? Number 9, do you have difficulty staying present in the moment, frequently worrying about the future or dwelling on the past? Do you feel like you haven't fully processed certain events from your past? So, I get 3. Now, 0 through 3, healed and empowered. Congratulations. You've done significant work to heal from past traumas. While no one has ever fully finished healing, you are in a strong place where past events have little control over your present. Keep nurturing your growth and your self-awareness. Now, there's no wrong answers here. It's just giving you an idea of what you need to work on. So this is 4 to 7. Healing in progress. You've made progress, but there's still areas where past traumas may be influencing your current feelings, including anxiety. Focus on understanding the root causes of these emotions and seek some additional tools and suggestions in this chapter. 8 to 10 points. Healing is needed. Your score suggests that unresolved past traumas may be significantly impacting your emotional well-being. This could be contributing to your current anxiety and limiting your ability to fully experience life. It's time to prioritize deep healing work through supportive methods mentioned in the coming pages. You may either be pleasantly surprised by your score or shocked at how unhealed you may be. No matter where you sit, you're currently in a really good place because you are reading this or listening. By picking up this book, you made a choice to no longer feel imprisoned by your own mind. If you scored an 8 to 10, you need to take some serious time digging into those past traumas and heal them from feeling them. It doesn't mean that you can't read the rest of the book, but it does mean that after you finish the book, you need to start taking action on purging what no longer serves you. Ideally, you will know you're healed completely when you can connect to a painful past experience with no negative emotional reaction. Eventually, by addressing the past, present, and future aspects of anxiety, you may be able to look into your previous traumas and actually feel a sense of gratitude towards them. For over a decade, I have worked with clients to help them heal their trauma and to reclaim control over their lives. There are a variety of things, different healing methods available to you: acupuncture, Reiki, past life regression, therapy, meditation, Rife machines. I could go on and on. There are three techniques I'm going to focus on here because they were the ones that had the biggest impact on me and my clients. And you can do them yourself. Keep in mind, this book isn't about healing your past traumas. It's about healing anxiety. Healing in and of itself is a journey, one that will deeply help your chronic anxiety. But you have to be willing to take the lead if you want the change. I remember saying, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. I know, deep thought, right? All right, sitting with it. Page 58 of the book. Your anxiety is giving me anxiety. Sitting with it. It seems like we just never have enough time. Everything and everyone demands your attention. When you're at work and a wave of sadness suddenly hits you, what do? Most of us just push it down. There never seems to be a good time in the day to stop and fully feel. And when you finally do get a quiet moment, all you want to do is veg out on the couch and binge watch some really terrible reality TV. We barely have time to shower every day, let alone find the time to just sit and do nothing but feel. I get the reality of life, but it's this very reality that is fueling our anxiety. Instead of sweeping everything under the rug, what if we gave ourselves permission to sit and feel? We live in a constant loop of reacting to life instead of witnessing it. When we don't make space for our emotions in the present, they don't just disappear, they pile up. That buildup then creates emotional clutter we're forced to sort through later. Sitting with your emotions is not easy. It requires courage and vulnerability. And when you feel something and you actually allow yourself to sit with it, without judgment, without needing to change it, something powerful happens. The emotion starts to shift. And over time, the intensity softens. Eventually, you'll notice that something that used to trigger you doesn't anymore. That's your cue that you're ready to go deeper and look at the roots, at what's still hiding beneath the surface. It doesn't take much to clear out the old energies, but it does take presence. Find a safe, quiet space, like your bedroom, your car, a bench out in nature, and close your eyes and breathe. Gently clear the noise of the present moment. Then let yourself travel back to the moments that still feel painful. Observe the memory and allow the emotions to move through you. Take slow, rhythmic breaths as you do this. Sometimes your nervous system will sound the alarm, telling you that you're unsafe, and that's okay. Just remind yourself that you are safe now. Stay with the memory and allow yourself to feel all of it. Cry if the tears come. Laugh or yell if you need to. The point is to create a space for what was never fully processed. As you revisit the same memory with the awareness of safety, the emotional charge starts to dissolve. Do this as many times as you need. Afterward, you might want to call a friend Write in a journal, or talk to a therapist. Sometimes we need support to help us process what's been stored. Sitting with your emotions doesn't mean fixing, analyzing, or judging them. It just means showing up. It means being curious about the parts of yourself that have lived in the shadows. And here is the real shift. Anxiety isn't the enemy, it's a signal. It's your system asking for your awareness. By sitting with your unresolved emotions, you're essentially saying, I hear you, and I'm ready to turn off the alarm before it needs to sound. Talking to yourself. Talking to yourself might sound silly or even a little crazy. Society has taught us that people who talk to themselves are unstable or need help. But in reality, self talk is one of the most powerful tools for self healing. Our minds are incredibly busy, constantly reacting to the world, processing emotions, and planning actions. If we don't stop and pay attention to what's happening internally, it's like letting a storm rage on. Believe it or not, before we say something out loud, our minds are already planning the words. Our thoughts move so quickly that we don't usually catch the internal dialogue happening underneath the surface. But when we take the time to listen, we can uncover the emotions driving our reactions. For example, before I asked my partner to cut up our toddler's, let me try that again. For example, before I asked my partner to cut up our toddler Bodhi's food, I feel a sense of panic or fear about him choking. That fear leads me to act, prompting me to speak up and ask her to cut the food. On the surface, it might look like I'm being overly controlling, but if I dig deeper, I realize that the fear is tied to trust issues stemming from past traumas that aren't even connected to food or choking, which is where things get confusing. These anxieties create external loops where I feel the need to control a situation in order to avoid my worst fears coming true. Oh my goodness, I've had that happen. Wow. We all have these subtle mechanisms playing out in the background of our lives, usually without realizing it. The key to breaking these loops is stopping the pattern in its tracks through talking to yourself. In my case, I might pause and turn inward, asking myself, hey, how are you feeling right now? Why are you scared? When I did this recently, I discovered that earlier in the day, my partner had forgotten to put on Bodhi's helmet while he was riding his bicycle, and he fell. It wasn't a bad fall, but it triggered a feeling of insecurity in me. By addressing this part of myself directly, while bringing awareness to the cause of my disease, I could acknowledge the fear and allow it to surface instead of letting it unconsciously drive my actions. Sometimes these check ins don't even require spoken words. I might ask myself how I'm feeling and suddenly feel a wave of sadness or tears well up. Instead of trying to rationalize it or figure out the why, I just let myself cry and sit with the emotion. It's so important to give yourself a space to feel. In a fast paced world, scheduling an hour, a week, or even a month for emotions isn't enough. You need to check in with yourself throughout the day. Here's another example. One night I was relaxing, watching Netflix, when I suddenly felt like I couldn't catch my breath. My chest tightened and I started sweating. Classic signs of an impending panic attack. I tried deep breathing and safety affirmations, but they weren't working. So instead, I turned inward and asked myself, hey, what's going on here? Are you okay? So, Haley's, okay. The voice that came back was quiet and shaky and said, there's just so much going on. It wasn't one specific thing, it was everything. The chaos in the world, the bills that needed paying, the chores that were piling up. So I responded gently, it is a lot, and that's okay. Right now, there's nothing you need to do. You have all the tools that you need to handle the rest. That simple conversation created the validation that it was a lot and that it was okay. My body relaxed, my breath slowed, and the cold sweats stopped. When we talk to ourselves this way, we become our own caretakers. We show up for ourselves in ways that no one else ever has before, fostering trust and communication with the parts of us that feel scared or unheard. This not only helps us heal, it also builds a self awareness that allows us to understand our reactions on a deeper level. If you want to go even further, try checking in with yourself before you fall asleep at night, which I do. Ask yourself how your day went and if there was any big emotion or reaction that you need to process. This daily check in will help you sleep more deeply since your mind won't be trying to process unresolved energies on its own. It will also allow you to wake up ready to start a new day without the baggage of the previous day lingering. A cord cutting letter. The third technique is to write a cord cutting letter. Before we dive into what this is, let me briefly describe what an energetic cord is. An energy cord is an invisible emotional or energetic link formed between you and objects, people, or experiences you interact with. Every interaction we have creates energetic connections or cords. Those cords affect everything from your emotions to your thoughts and reactions. Energy cannot usually be seen by the naked eye, but it can be felt as long as we are listening. Most cords are weak and dissipate naturally, but intense emotional attachments form stronger ones. These cords can eventually release over time once there is a separation between you and whatever you connected with, but they can also linger. When we move through life and go through countless daily interactions, the energy cords build up. The more cords you have, the more anxiety you are bound to feel. Once again, it's like adding layer after layer of clothing only to get to a point where you feel utterly stifled and claustrophobic. Releasing, cutting, releasing, or cutting these cords is extremely important for anxiety management. All right, so we are at 30 minutes, and there's just something that I need to say out loud. Okay. And unfortunately, it is very necessary. But it is this, and that is that I revoke all consent, soul contracts, and permissions by any person or entity attached to me. I deny them access to my energy field, and I demand all cords be cut and all my power be returned to me right now. Blessed be. And on that note, Omni Collective, hello, Christopher. I wish I could stay a little bit longer, but I'm sort of hoping that we will have a show with Benny later on today. So I'm going to save my screen time and show time and hope to share it with Benny a little later on. So that is all for now, my very dear friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Never forget that you are amazing, you are loved. Be well, be safe out there. And if you are joining me on the replay, thank you so much. The important part is just getting the message out, right? All right. So that is all for now. Thank you so much. Never forget to protect your peace, and I will see you on the next show. Bye.